Hi there, this is Cindy, your host of the Kindness Advantage, where in 10 minutes or less, I will be bringing you tips on ways to be intentional with kindness, not only in your workplace, but in your personal life as well. So, thank you so much for joining me today. We are talking about creating ripples this week. It's, I think, a fascinating concept. We've all heard that kindness can have a ripple effect. And really, what does that mean? It's the fact that one act of kindness can inspire others to do the same thing, creating a chain reaction of positivity. So it's just simply like throwing a pebble into a pond and it ripples outward, affecting everything it touches, right? That's the kind of concept we're talking about with kindness today. And I have shared, if you have been following along with me, or if you have attended any of my presentations, you have heard this. This is a study by Harvard and Yale, but one kind act has the potential to reach 125 people in just one day. It's fascinating to me. It's incredible, actually. I get goosebumps every time I say it because we don't realize the impact that we have just by doing a kind act. So it goes way beyond the initial recipient, right? And that's where the excitement comes in, right? There are so many stories of how one kind act has led to a big, huge positive change, right? Like a simple gesture, like paying for coffee for somebody, the person behind you in line, can inspire them to do the same thing for someone else. And it goes on forever. We've heard stories from Starbucks lines where one person pays for the person behind and goes on for hours. That is creating ripples, right? One person made the decision to pay forward or pay behind, basically, pay for the person behind them. And they had no idea how long it would go on for, right? They have no idea how many lives they impacted that day just by buying a cup of coffee for the person behind them. So I think also one thing that you want to remember is that it's not just about the number of people that are impacted, but it's also about the quality of the impact, right? And that's the other thing. If you can be intentional with your kindness, and you have that opportunity where you see somebody needs a smile, you give them one of yours. You see somebody needs help with the door because their hands are full, you open up the door, right? Each act of kindness, no matter how small, contributes to a more positive and compassionate world. And I think if you are anybody like me, you realize that we need that, right? We need to be more positive and have more compassion for our other humans in our life. And I think it's also important to state that just like positive acts of kindness can spread, so can the unkind acts, right? We've seen this. If you're on social media, you've seen how when you get one negative person, man, they all come out of the woodwork. So a single act of unkindness can also spread. So it's really, really important. And I guess you wouldn't be listening to me if you didn't find it important as well. But it's really important to focus on spreading positive kindness. So, how can you start a ripple effect? It's simple. Just decide, right? Remember, kindness starts with you. Being mindful of your actions and knowing that every interaction is an opportunity to spread kindness, a smile, a compliment, a helping hand, it all can start a ripple effect. And also, I truly believe when you share stories of kindness, it actually inspires others to do the same. I just recently spoke at a conference and I share my story and I encourage them to do kind acts. That's how I close it out. I give them a challenge to do a kind act. Well, the next day, I ran into two people and they said that my session had them talking about it all afternoon. And that, well, first of all, that was a really kind thing to tell me and it made my day. But they said that when they were out shopping, they found these little flamingos. And that was kind of the mascot, per se, for this conference. We were down in Orlando. But they found these pins or trinkets with a flamingo, and they were going to give them to somebody randomly that was at the conference. I was so excited, one, that they shared that with me, and two, that they actually like thought about that, right? They saw it and they recognized it, and that's how they were going to spread kindness. And that truly made my day. And it honestly inspired me to be more thoughtful with some of my kind acts as well. Now, that kind act that those ladies were going to do was, number one, intentional, and two, thoughtful. And I know the impact that they were going to have was going to be much bigger than they anticipated. So just know that you can decide to start the kindness ripple. You can decide to do something for somebody else, and you will never know how far that ripple goes. But before I close, I want to make sure that you understand that actually kindness starts within you. You need to practice self kindness. We have to create a stronger foundation for spreading kindness to others. And honestly, that begins with us. If we don't believe we're worthy, if we do not have the self care and the self kindness, like you're not, it's going to be very, very challenging to spread it to others. So when we're kind to ourselves, we're better equipped to extend kindness to others. I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you decide to pay some kindness towards me and pass this episode on to somebody else. And, if you haven't subscribed yet, I please encourage you to do so. It would mean the world to me. Again, I love comments, I love shares, and I love feedback. So just let me know if this resonated with you. I hope you understand that every act of kindness, no matter how small, has a potential to create a ripple effect, right? And together, we create waves of change through kindness.